Hey folks, welcome to Look Back. My name is Tom Vasel, and I'm going to be taking a look at reviews I did a year, 5 years, and 10 years ago, and tell you kind of what I think of them today, if they've changed at all. So we're going to start last year in 2016, and first we have Horrible Hex, which is a game in which you put hexagons on a board and try to match shapes. It's really bad. First of all, if you make a game that's called Horrible Hex, you shouldn't put the word horrible. You're kind of asking people to use that word to describe your game. And I was probably maybe a little too nice, so I'm dropping the rating of that. Then we have a bunch of good games. We have Zambo Z, which is going around in the jungle, taking pictures of animals or capturing animals. I'm not actually sure. Like an animal safari style game, more for kids than adults, and works well in that situation. Resistor, do you like putting cards down, flipping those cards, manipulating cards, trying to connect your resistor path across? It's a two-player game. It has a really cool look to it, and I think some people will enjoy this more than others. It's fun. Open Sesame is a push your luck style game from Vasel. Solid game. I mean, not amazing. IDW probably did better production, but it's good. Mix It, which is a game in which you're putting little alien creatures down and flipping the cards. This is another one for kids as they try to match the aliens to different cards on the table. Orphan Black, the card game, which has a kind of feel of the show as you have different people and you're trying to have those, each of the people has different agendas, and so it's very much like the show where there's people all, not really sure, not who to trust. That comes through in the game. Probably could use better quality components, but it does, if you like the show, you'll probably like the game. More to Emarosa. This is one of those games that I forgot. When we just did our top 10 unique games last year, I should have mentioned this one, where you're dropping cubes into a tower and listening, trying to figure out what floor they land on. There's a good chunk of luck in. That's why it's not like a 9, because I really love the idea. The game itself is just good, right? It's a solid, interesting game. Not one you want to play all the time, but it's very unique. Then we have Hoeyup, which was kind of an area control game as you're building villages next to each other. Very interesting game. I like the game itself, had a lot of different variety in it. You could add layers to it in the game. You should play the most advanced version. Although the expansion Anatolia was merely okay at best. You don't need it for the game. Just the base game is fine. Then 5 years ago, in 2012, first we have Tabwells, which is a fairly forgettable trick-taking game with dice in the cards. It sounds interesting, didn't turn out that well. Mafia, Death and Deception. This one, it's a werewolf game, right? That's pretty much all it is. I was kinder 5 years ago. Today, there's no reason to make another one of these. This one is just not that interesting. There's already things like Ultimate Werewolf and the werewolf games out there. I guess you could get this one if you want Mafia and not werewolf, but whatever. Quarriors Rise of the Demons. This is probably I give it a good rating, but it's probably my least favorite of the Quarriors expansions. Most of the Quarriors expansions were really fun and added a lot of cool dice to it. This one was added like negative dice and cursed dice, and that's interesting, but not one I'd want to play with all the time. Chicken Caesar. Now this game's kind of an intriguing one because when I first got Chicken Caesar, this was very close to the time where I released Nothing Personal, a game I designed, and I was like, oh no, this game sounds really similar. It's all these different chickens being a Caesar and backstabbing. But when I got it, it was a very, very different game. And I think I might have rated it slightly too high just because I was afraid that people would think I was rating it lower, so it wouldn't be in competition with my own game, which is nonsense. But it's fine. I like the idea of there being chickens fighting back and forth. But each game, from game to game, it doesn't feel that different. Also, it really went off the radar. I know some people talked about it, and I haven't heard anything about it in the last 5 years at all. Cant Stop. Now, here's one where the rating has gone up. I always said Cant Stop's an okay game, but I found that if people say, hey, do you want to play Cant Stop? I'm like, let's do it. And if I'm always doing that every time the game's played, I gotta like it more than I said so, right? This is a fun, classic push-your-luck game. Pizza Theory. Here's another cool, unique game. It's best played with 3 players as you are cutting a pizza in 3 pieces and then trying to control and have the most veggies, the most meat, or the most peppers, or whatever the other thing was, and it's like an area control game, but you're laying sticks on a pizza and cutting it into sections. It's a really cool idea. I like this one a lot. Evo, the evolution game in which you have dinosaurs and trying to evolve them so that they survive. And you're going after other dinosaurs. Light, fun. The second edition is really well done. Lost Cities. Now, you'll notice the rating here has dropped slightly, but it's still an amazing game. I mean, Lost Cities is one of my favorite 2-player games ever. Certainly one of my most two-player games. Just last year, Cosmos came out with an extra expedition, which is not necessary. Actually makes the game less tense, which might be fine for many people. But it is man, if you've never played Lost Cities, you got to try it at least once. Not everyone likes it, but those of us who do love it. And then finally, only one game from 10 years ago, and that's Marvel Heroes. Now, this one has dropped considerably. When I first played it, I was like, a superhero game. I'm so excited. Well, yeah, it is exciting to have a new superhero game on the block. There's been since many superhero games. This one has not aged as well as I like. It's done by the same guys who did War of the Ring. And I have teams of superheroes go around a city and fighting different people, and it works okay. The whole thing comes together. But there's just not that much excitement that I want to come back. Sure, it has some plastic miniatures. Sure, it has a lot of cool characters from the Marvel Universe and some combos that we haven't seen since Fox owns some of the characters, whatever. But it was cool, and I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's fine. It's just that I probably won't play it again because there's a lot of cooler, newer superhero games. So those are the reviews I did a year, 5 years, and 10 years ago this week. See you next week for some more Look Back.